Welcome students. Welcome to CBSE Social Science classes. Today we will deal with the first lesson of political science, that is power sharing of class 10th. So without wasting time, let's begin. Power sharing. What exactly does it mean by power sharing? Power sharing means instead of concentrating power in one hand, it's better to segregate it, distribute it within one or two levels. That is called power sharing. So in this chapter we have been given examples of two countries where we can understand exactly what does it mean by power sharing. So we'll continue with the notes. Students, you can see we have a chapter named as power sharing where we have been given two countries, the comparison between two countries. One is Belgium and one is Sri Lanka. So first of all we will deal with Belgium. So power sharing in Belgium. Belgium is a small country in Europe. Division of population. There are particularly three kinds of linguistic communities which are living over there. One who are speaking Dutch language, they are in 59%. Second, we have French speaking people, they are 40% of them. The remaining people who speak German. So here we can understand that whoever people are living in Belgium, the majorities are speaking Dutch. Second number we have French speaking, and the third we have German language. In the capital city Brussels, 80% people speak French while the rest speak Dutch. Now if we will compare, more people speak Dutch in rest of the Belgium, but only in city Brussels, which is called the capital of Europe, we can see that 80% people speak French and rest people, means 20% people, speak Dutch language. The minority French speaking community is economically and educationally well to do in comparison to the Dutch speaking majority. Now what is majority and what is minority? The people less in number is called minority, and the people who are in large number, they are considered as majority. So we can understand that yes, the Dutch speaking is considered as the majority, whereas the people who are speaking French are considered as minority. For accommodating the interest of the minority and the majority, Belgium adopted the unique system of power sharing. Here you will get a definite question that explain the Belgium model of governance. How can we consider that Belgium is considered to be the fantastic example of power sharing? So 3-mark question will surely be asked over there. Now we will go through with the Belgium model of governance. First point in the Belgium model of governance, the French and Dutch speaking ministers are in the central government. What does it mean? It means the people, the majority and minority, those who are speaking Dutch language as well as French language, they both are given chance to become ministers in the central government. Some special laws require the support of majority of members from each linguistic groups. What does it mean? So whoever people, either they are from the minority or the majority, still there are same laws for both of them. Some special laws require the support of majority of members from each linguistic group. This is the point. Third point, many parts of the central government have been given to state governments of the two regions of the country. Correct. Many parts of the central government means what? They had central government and state government. If you want to consider the same point in a nice manner, then we can take the example of India itself, because in India we have central government, state government and the local government. Central government is always giving some kinds of special initiatives, some powers to the state government also, even though they do not interfere, but still they are supporting each other. Third point, Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities, French and Dutch, have equal representation. Now you need to pay attention here most, because Brussels, where we have 80% who are speaking French and 20% people who are speaking Dutch, then they have equal representation over us. You need not to forget that key. The same reservation, the 50%, the same reservation is there in different parts of the society in the Europe itself. Third, a community government exists. Community government means what? Especially a particular kind of religion. It is elected by people belonging to one language community, means a linguistic group. This government engages with the cultural, educational and language related issues. Means what? A community government means whoever people are speaking French, the French community is over there. Whoever people are speaking Dutch, they have their own community. So still community government exists over there in the Belgium. Next point. This kind of governance has prevented a civil strife between the two different linguistic communities. Correct. Civil strife means what? A problematic condition. So war-like situation or a riot kind of situation or any kind of clashing situation. It can create some kind of clashes in between them. Two linguistic groups. These two linguistic groups are one French speaking and one Dutch speaking. So it could be a problem for them if there would be any kind of strife. Then definitely the situation could have been a problematic situation. So just we have seen the Belgium power of sharing. Now we will concentrate what exactly does the arrangement over there in Sri Lanka. So power sharing arrangement in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has a diverse population with 74% Sinhala speakers and 18% Tamil speakers. Now, among Tamils, 13% are called Sri Lankan Tamils and the rest Indian Tamils. Now, please concentrate over there. Sri Lanka, we have two languages over there, that Sinhala. Sinhala is in a majority over there because 74% people are speaking Sinhala language and other 18% are considered as the Tamil speakers. Now, 13% people among Tamils, means whoever 18% Tamil speakers were there, 13% are called Sri Lankan Tamils and the rest 5% are called Indian Tamils. Now Indian Tamils, now here the most important thing. So you might have heard about the plantation. So whoever people went over there for the plantation work to Sri Lanka, they were considered as, and they settled down over there, they were considered as Indian Tamils. The Tamilians whose forefathers came from India as plantation workers during colonial rule and settled in Sri Lanka are called Indian Tamils. Correct. And the Sri Lankan Tamils, they are the natives of Sri Lanka. That's why they are called Sri Lankan Tamils. Now, means what? The Sinhala majority language and Tamil, that is considered to be as the minority. Second point. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while most of the Tamil are Hindus or Muslims. Now, whoever people are speaking Sinhala language, most of the people are Buddhist because Buddhism is the majority religion over there. There are about 7% Christians who are both Tamils and Sinhalas. Means we can consider that still there is a majority of Sinhala language. Third, Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. Just after our independence, Sri Lanka also got independence. After that, in 1956, this point is rather more important for us. In 1956, Sinhala was recognized as the only official language of Sri Lanka, thus disregarding Tamil. What does it mean? It means Sinhala was considered as the national language of Sri Lanka. Now, what are the different aspects related to this? We will come to know now. The government, next point. The government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university position and government jobs. A new constitution stipulated that the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. Correct. Now the majoritarianism means what? Under majoritarianism means what? Majority community rules the country in its own way by disregarding the wishes and needs of the minority. Now, whoever people are speaking Sinhala language will be definitely get university positions, government jobs. And now it is written in their constitution that the state shall protect and foster Buddhism. Means what? Buddhism was considered as the national religion of Sri Lanka. So it is crystal clear that the majority government, majority people are taking the decisions over there. Next point we will see, a feeling of alienation was seen among the Sri Lankan Tamils. Correct. Sri Lankan Tamils. If you are able to get at that, Sri Lankan Tamils, native Tamils and the Indian Tamils, they both were alienated. Why? The reason was their Tamil language was not considered. They were not able to get the government jobs. They were not able to foster their particular religion. That's why it was a problematic case for them. Then the Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggles for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. That was denied by the Sinhala dominated government. That was denied. Means what? There was a strife. There was a clash between the majority and minority, because these Tamil people started protesting against the decisions taken by the majority people, that is the Sinhala language, the Sinhala speakers. The Sri Lankan government had taken the decision to be accepted Sinhala as the the national language, as well as Buddhism as the national religion. That's why these people launched different kinds of struggles against the majority government. Next point, in 1980, several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil. Means what? The opposition of minority became a particularly important task for majority, what we can say, the government, because this government wanted the majority decisions should be taken into consideration, but still the minority people were not giving any kind of support to it. Next, Elam, that is state in northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka, that was the demand by the Sri Lankan Tamils. Next, these differences in the two different communities pushed Sri Lanka into a state of civil war. Yes, correct. I told you that in Belgium, there was not a particularly issue of any kind of conflict, but still in Sri Lanka, the majority decisions, the people who were in majority, they had taken the decisions which were not in a proper manner for the minority people. So minority people feeling alienating from this majority community, or because of the decisions of this majority government. That's the main reason there was a war-like situation, a civil war-like situation in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, the idea of majoritarianism crumbled the country in a civil war. Correct. What I told you, that because of the decisions taken by the Sri Lankan government, that is called the majoritarianism. Under the majoritarianism, majority community rules the country, means by its own way. So whatever decision majority community thinks it's good for their particular country, then definitely it will be taken. They will not take care of any kind of minority community. So under this, whoever people in the minority in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Tamils were in the minority. Although there were Sri Lankan Tamils and the Indian Tamils, doesn't matter, but still they were thinking that Tamil should be also recognized, because these people were unable to get jobs, university positions over there in the country. So they had to work in the private only. That's the main reason. So whatever injustice occurred with them, they wanted to take the revenge of that, and this kind of revengeful situation created a civil war situation in Sri Lanka. Here we will get a quick look towards the forms of power sharing and constitution of Belgium and Sri Lanka. So first of all, we will concentrate in Belgium itself. Now, in Belgium we can see that Belgium is a small country in Europe with a very complex ethnic position. Ethnic means a social division based on shared culture. Then in Sri Lanka is an island nation in the Indian Ocean. Next point, Of the country's total population, 59% Dutch speakers. In Belgium, 40% French speaker and 1% German speakers. We'll continue with the Belgium first. The capital city is Brussels. Between 1970 and 1993, the constitution of Belgium was amended 4 times. It was an extra information. Belgium followed a community government which is elected by people belonging to one language community, Dutch, German and French speaking. Here we need to understand that although there are 3 different particular languages, but still a community government was accepted over there. Means what? Taking care government. Rule of the democracy. As we are living in India, so we know the importance of democracy. It's a particular government which is elected by people, for the people, of the people. Abraham Lincoln's definition everybody knows. So what we are expecting in a particularly democracy, that people should be given importance, but still the same thing is given in the Belgium itself, because although majority and minority people were living over there, but still everybody was taken care of. That's why the Belgium model of government was considered as the best model in the democracy. Now we will concentrate towards Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, if you will see, Sri Lanka has a diverse population with 74% Sinhala speakers and 18% Tamils. Christians are about 7%. We know about the Sinhala, the majority community. The capital is Colombo. In 1956, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language. So in 1956, 1948 they got freedom, and afterwards in 1956, they have amended in the constitution that yes, Sinhala to be taken into consideration as the national language of Sri Lanka, and Buddhism to be accepted as the national religion. Next, Sri Lanka followed majoritism disregarding Tamils. As we discussed that yes, majority had taken the decision. Yes, no one is going to interfere in this. Sinhala, the people who are speaking Sinhala will get the government jobs, will get university positions, will definitely get all kinds of facilities. Whereas the Tamil speakers, they will definitely not get any kind of benefit of it. So it created problematic situation. So here we can get the exact opposite situation in Sri Lanka from Belgium. Hope you understood the difference between Belgium and Sri Lanka. Now, the next important point we have, why power sharing is desirable. Why is there a need of sharing of powers between the levels? Because just we had seen the examples which are directly given to us about the comparison. We have seen the comparison between Belgium as well as Sri Lanka. We have already understood the topic, but still to get more clarification on this, we will continue it. Power sharing helps reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups and brings about stability in political order. Correct. In Belgium, we had seen the community government. That's why there was not any kind of civil war like situation. Whereas in Sri Lanka, we have that kind of situation. Power sharing is the very essence of a democracy, as participation of citizen is an essential factor. Correct. If we are living in the democracy, we know about that. We are living in the democracy, that's why we know each and every people is getting a right to vote. But in Sri Lanka, we had that kind of situation over there. But in Belgium, everyone was able to get that kind of right. That's the main reason, that sharing of power. If we want to practice democracy, then each and every aspect of the democracy should be considered. An intelligent sharing of power among legislature, executive and judiciary is very important to the design of a democracy. Correct. In India, we have such kind of thing. In India, we have a vertical power of distribution and horizontal powers of distribution. We also have, in our India itself, we have central government, we have state government, and we have local governments. Afterwards, if we want to practice all these kinds of things in a very smooth manner, then we must have legislature. Legislature means the people who are making laws. Now, executives are the important body of the ministers and the people who are implementing it. They are called executives. And judiciary means what? If any kind of dispute arises, then definitely they are just becoming or they are playing the role of mediator over there and trying to just give the solution on each or any kind of problem. Whatever problems arises because of that, then definitely they are getting solutions for that. That's the main reason that power sharing is desirable in each and country. Nowadays we have, most of the countries have already practiced democracy. Because of the democracy, the things are very smooth. Now next topic we have forms of power sharing. The idea of power sharing has emerged in opposition to the notion of undivided political power. In modern sharing democracies, power sharing arrangements can take many forms, such as, now whatever power sharing examples we have nowadays in different kinds of democracy, these are given. Now one by one we'll read out and we will just try to understand the importance of it. First, power is shared among different organs of government, such as the legislature, executives and judiciary. Just we had discussed. Each organ checks the others, correct. Now they are keeping a check. This result in a balance of power among various organs. Whoever people are working, so definitely one person is keeping a check whether the things are going smoothly or not. That is, this is a horizontal division of powers, as it allows different organs of government placed at the same level to exercise different powers. Correct. We had already discussed the vertical division of power, that is central government, state government and local government, and this is the horizontal powers of distribution. We have a separate question here. Now that is legislature, executives and judiciary. So we have a differentiate question over there. Then we can have the question what is power sharing and why it is desirable, such kind of thing. Next point, ministers and government officials exercise power, but at the same time they are responsible to the parliament or state, and although the judges are appointed by the executive, they can check the functioning of executive or laws made by the legislatures. Correct. Means each and everybody is responsible for one or more than one person, because we are living in a democracy and democracy has given power to make the laws, to implement the laws, but still if anybody is practicing illegal things, then definitely there is a check to that person. Third point, power can be shared among government at different levels. Now how power can be shared at different levels? That is, a general government for the entire country, that is central government, or government at the provincial regional level, that is state government. Such a government is called a federal government. So it is clear the government which has state level, central level, state level. This is the vertical division of power, as the central government delegates its powers to the state governments and they in turn delegate it to the smaller governing bodies and institutions. We have different kinds of things, because we have central government, we have state government, we have local governments. In local government we have Jilla Parishad, we have Panchayat Samiti, we have Gram Panchayat. So these are the small modules particularly, but still if we want to practice democracy, then definitely the powers to be given in different organs, so that in different levels, so that the work can be a smoother and it should be transparent too. Next, power may also be shared among different social groups, such as the religious and linguistic groups. Yes, because in India itself, if we will consider, India is a linguistic based country, everybody knows about it. India is a linguistic country, so everybody knows that whoever majority people are there, they are living over there. Example, Maharashtra, Marathi language; Punjab, Punjabi language; Odisha, Odia language. Then we have MP, Hindi language is over there. Then we have Gujarat, Gujarati language. So power may also be shared among different social groups, such as the religious and linguistic groups. In some countries, there are constitutional and legal arrangements whereby socially weaker sections and women are represented in the legislatures and administration. Correct. Every country, because we know in our India also 33% seats are reserved for women, and now they are thinking about the 50%. Then there is always some kind of reservation for SC, ST, OBC and weaker sections of the society. We know about, because in our constitution it is already given that these people must be given some kind of reservation in government jobs, in getting kind of in any kind of situation. So we have already implemented it in our constitutions. Now, next point, power sharing arrangement can also be seen in the way political parties, pressure groups, and movement control or influence those in power. Now, pressure groups means what? Whoever are in opposition of opposed party or opposition party, it is considered pressure groups. Pressure groups are rather always important. Why? Because they are the people who are keeping check onto the ruling government, whether the decisions of the ruling government are correct or not, are they doing their work properly or not. These people are keeping check over there. This way the power is shared among different parties that represent different ideologies and social groups. Correct. When two or more parties form an alliance to contest elections, this kind of power sharing can be direct. If their alliance is elected, they form a coalition government and thus share power. So what is coalition government? In Maharashtra itself is a fantastic example. Earlier, before the election, we had the coalition government of BJP and Shiv Sena. But now, whatever elections took place recently, according to that, National Congress, I Congress, that is Indira Congress, and we have the third Shiv Sena. These three people came together and then formed a coalition government, and now they are ruling the Maharashtra. What is this coalition government? We coming together, sharing the power and just getting the power. Instead of, if any majority community will get, majority party will get a chance, definitely the majority party will form a government. We can have the fantastic example of BJP. In central ministry, we have a BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. Why is it so? Because it is the majority party which won the election. But the same thing did not take place in Maharashtra. That's the main reason. Instead of getting a chance to form a government by in Maharashtra by BJP, it is not possible because they did not fulfill the seats. That's why what did they do? They wanted to go with the Shiv Sena, but the Shiv Sena did not. That's why what Shiv Sena did, they formed a coalition government. They shared their power with National Congress, Sharad Pawar, and Indira Congress, Sonia Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and now they are ruling Maharashtra. That's why it is called a coalition government. So here we can understand that yes, without sharing a power, we are unable to live in a smooth manner. If there will be a problematic condition, just like as a Sri Lanka, whatever we had seen in the Sri Lanka itself, it would be a problematic case for us, because in Sri Lanka there would be a problem, civil war like situation, because Tamils were alienated. But as compared to Sri Lanka, Belgium model is the fantastic model, because in Belgium a community government was given that kind of importance. That's why there was no any kind of clash among the people. So hope you understood the lesson, that is power sharing. The important questions what I had already discussed with you in the beginning itself, or while dealing with the different topic, but still I would like to recall a few questions over there. 1 mark question: what is power sharing? Then what kind of division of population over there in Belgium? Then explain the model of Belgium. 3 mark question. Then why were the Tamils feeling alienated? That is also a different question. What is power sharing? Why is it desirable? That can be considered the 3 mark question. Then what are the different forms of power sharing, where we can see the sharing of powers? So these kind of examples can be given. Hope you understood today's lesson, power sharing. Next episode will definitely get any one of the lessons of social science. So till then, goodbye. Thank you.